On 5 islands in Indonesia, there is a lizard that grows to 10 feet long and weighs as much as a grown man. It hunts by waiting. It doesn't chase you down in the open, it lies still, downwind, until you're close. And its own babies climb into the trees to survive, because the adults will eat them. This is the Komodo dragon. And the more you learn about how it lives, the less it feels like a lizard. Start with the size, because the size is the thing that stops you. But Komodo dragon is the largest lizard alive on Earth. Males reach about 3 meters (10 feet) and can weigh up to 150 kilograms. The heaviest verified captive animal tipped the scales at 166 kilograms, though a good part of that was the meal still inside it. Its tail is as long as its body. And it lives nowhere else, just 5 Indonesian islands, Komodo, Rinca, Flores, and 2 smaller specks of land. That's the entire world for this animal. A predator this large, packed onto ground you could walk across in an afternoon. On those islands, nothing hunts the adult dragon. It sits at the top. Everything else lives underneath it. The young start small, snapping up insects and birds. But a full-grown dragon wants meat, and lots of it. Its main prey is the Javan rusa, a deer, along with feral pigs. It'll also eat carrion, and it can smell a dead animal from a long way off. It doesn't run its prey down. It ambushes. It stays still and low, and it lets the animal come to it. And then there's the detail nobody warns you about: adults occasionally attack people, too. Now look inside the mouth. About 60 teeth, serrated, curved, replaced constantly as they wear and break. They can grow up to 2.5 centimeters, an inch of edged bone. And here's the part that gets under your skin: those teeth are almost completely buried under the gum tissue. So every time the dragon feeds, that tissue tears. Its saliva runs blood-tinged, its own blood, from a mouth built to wound itself. A 10-foot ambush predator with a jaw full of self-sharpening blades, walking around with red in its spit as a matter of routine. Think about what ambush actually means for the prey. No chase. No warning. A deer moves through dry scrub in the heat of the day, and what looked like a fallen log doesn't move until it does. The strike is short and close. The dragon doesn't need speed across distance. It needs one moment where you're within reach. That's the whole strategy. Patience as a weapon. On an island this small, with a predator this large and this still, the ground itself starts to feel like it's watching you. But the cruelest part of this animal's life happens at the very beginning. A female lays as many as 20 eggs, sometimes in an abandoned megapode mound, sometimes in a hole she digs herself. They incubate for 7 or 8 months and hatch in April, time to when insects are thickest. And the moment those hatchlings come out, they run. They climb into the trees. Because down on the ground, the biggest threat to a young Komodo dragon is an adult Komodo dragon. They're cannibals. To survive, the babies do something desperate: they roll in feces, coating themselves in a stench the adults avoid. That's the deal on these islands. To grow up, you first have to smell too foul to eat. If a young dragon survives all of that, it takes 8 to 11 years to mature. And then it can keep going. 30 years is the estimate, and by some counts as much as 62. Decades of doing the one thing it does best: waiting and taking. Western scientists only recorded these animals in 1910. Rumors reached the Dutch of a land crocodile, and when the specimens came back, the story spread fast. This is the animal that helped inspire King Kong. A real monster that turned out to be exactly as large as the legend said. And here's the turn. The largest living lizard on Earth, the apex of its whole world, is running out of that world. Human encroachment has squeezed its range. Climate change is expected to shrink it further. The IUCN lists the Komodo dragon as endangered. Indonesia protects it by law, and Komodo National Park was founded in 1980 to hold the line. But think about what that means. A predator that fears nothing on its own islands, that eats its own young, that waits without moving, that has outlived relatives as huge as Megalania, is now the one thing it never had to be before: vulnerable. That's the thing that stays with you. We tend to think of monsters as immortal, too big, too old, too fierce to ever disappear. But Komodo dragon is all of those things. It's the closest thing to a living dragon we've got, sitting on top of a world that fears it. And it's slipping away anyway, held together by a law and a park and a few small islands. The apex predator, endangered. Somewhere between the myth and the extinction is the truth. Even the last dragon can run out of ground to stand on. If this crawled under your skin, subscribe. We go one apex predator deeper every week. Tell me in the comments which animal you want next.